Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Mukam Karoti Chalantam Gundam Vayate Kim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Okay, so we'll start with the Mangalacharan prayers. That's okay. And then we'll take it from there. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear worshipable devotees, thank you so much for joining. We are reading Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Oh, sorry. We are reading Bhagavad Gita. This is called conditioning. When we do something repeatedly, we get used to it. So every day, this is my opening message. And then we get used to that. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3. Malinemochanam pumsam jalasnana dine dine sakrit gita amritasnanam sansara malanashanam. As we purify the body by taking bath in water, similarly we purify the consciousness, lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, delusion. How? By taking bath in the Ganges water of Bhagavad Gita. So, anyone remembers what we discussed last time? Till text number 26 we covered. We were talking about this acronym tree, and then we were talking in more detail. The Tyaga, right? T-R-E-E. Tyaga. R is the rungs, step by step. We keep moving from Karma Khand to the topmost ladder, that is pure bhakti, and then E is exemplary. To be a good example. Any other thoughts anyone has? Yes, Ravi Prabhu, you want to share?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I think you mentioned that. Yeah, this is what last time we read about how to live a Krishna conscious life and sets a standard and example for others.
Hare Krishna, very nice. And then because someone may say, well, if one is at actually the pure platform, one does not need to do duties. But then Krishna is saying that still that person must do to be a good example. Because common men will imitate, right? We discussed the example of the bad the minister also. How the common person said, well, if the minister is doing so, what's wrong in ordinary person like me doing it? No big deal. So that's why. Yes, Parna Mataji, you want to share some thoughts?
You spoke about the goal of human life is to satisfy Krishna conscious, is to satisfy Krishna. If Krishna is satisfied, the goal of life is achieved.
Very nice. That's the goal of human form of life. Very good. So
Then
let's begin with the next verse, which is text number 27. And text 26 and 28 are connected, so we will talk about it as well. But let's first do the 27. 26 and 29 are similar. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Prakrite kriyamanaani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. Yes, someone wants to read the translation. Yes, Vedi.
Hare Krishna. The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature.
Thank you so much. So, what happens is the ahankara vimudatma. Ahankara here means that I am the doer. Aham means I. Vimudatma. Vimuda means a foolish person, a person who does not know who is the true actor. The person is actually acting by the material nature. Prakriti means material nature, which is run by the Supreme Lord Krishna. But now someone thinks, no, look at my intelligence. Look, I got the best grades. Look, I have built a mansion. Look, I have earned this much money. Well, where did we get all the intelligence from? Where did whether it is good health, good beauty, name, fame, recognition, wealth, for home, car? A foolish person thinks that I am the doer. So there are multiple doers, and I is only one insignificant portion of it. It's not that, of course, material nature acts through the medium of the person, but a less intelligent person thinks that he is the only doer, that there is no God in picture, there is no material nature in picture, and I am the only doer. Prakriti and Jiva is also the doer, but Jiva is not the only doer. So if one has that mentality, then one cannot make spiritual progress because one will be puffed up. And that person will take credit, Prabhupada is mentioning here. The person in false ego takes away all the credit of doing everything independently. I don't need God. I don't need anyone. I can do whatever I want. And these days, actually, a lot of people talk about it. You can do whatever you want. You can go to the moon. You can do whatever you want. You are the doer. You can win the world. You can kar lo dunya muthi mein, right? Rags to riches. There may be one or two stories like that. And that also they do because of the divine intervention of the Supreme Lord. Without the intervention of the Supreme Lord, no one can do anything. Very simple. Right? That does not mean we become lazy or go to the other extreme. That, oh, if nothing is in our hand, then why should I work hard? Why should I do my dutiful work? Why should I do this or that? No, that's the other extreme. We have to do our dutiful work. That's what Krishna is mentioning here. And then, but do it as a servant of the Lord. Like Hanuman is a classic example. Hanuman did extraordinarily amazing things for the pleasure of Lord Ram, for great service. But he never had this mentality that I am the big doer. I can look, I can cross over the mountains, I can cross over the ocean, I can pick heavy mountains. He always said, it is only by the mercy of Lord Ram. This is the mentality of a devotee. That alone I am nothing, but by the mercy of the Supreme Lord, if He desires so, I can move the mountains. So this should be our mood as well. Ultimately, here Prabhupada is also mentioning that the master of senses is Krishna or Rishikesha. The ignorant man forgets that. He thinks, no, I am the master, I can do whatever I want. And that leads to so many problems. That this is mine, my family, I am the doer, I am the maintainer, I am the master, Ishvara, right? We all want to become Ishvaraham Aham Bhogi. So let's see the next verse. Tattvavittu mahabaho guna karma vibhagayo guna guneshu vartanta iti matva na sajjate. Yes, Ravi Prabhu, you want to read?
Hare Krishna, one who is in knowledge of the absolute truth, O mighty arm, does not engage himself in the senses and sense gratification, knowing well the differences between work in devotion and work for fruitive results.
Thank you so much. So in the previous work, we discussed about the person who is not in knowledge. He thinks I am the great doer. He thinks I am running the show, right? If I die, then who will take care of the world? But that's not true. The world was running before. It will continue to run after also, and now also it's running. It's not that I am running the show. So what does an intelligent person do? Intelligent person does work in devotion, not like the work for fruitive results. So renunciation should be in work, not off the work. It's a very nice line. Renunciation should not be off the work, but it should be in work. That means act as the spirit of devotion to Krishna with detachment, not just leave the activity in itself. One extreme is, okay, leave everything. If I'm not the doer, leave everything. Just, chodo ghar bar kalo, chalo Haridwar. Leave everything, go to Haridwar. One thing is other extreme. Oh, I'm the doer. I can do anything. I can cross over the mountains. That's other extreme where God is missing in the picture. We have to strive for the balance. That, yes, the Lord is maintaining the show. He is the supreme creator, but He has given me certain responsibility. So I have to act in devotion and not do things which are not conducive. That is sense gratification. Does not engage the senses in the sense gratification, but rather engages senses in this master of the senses. Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Uttamam. That is Bhakti. To engage the senses in the service of the master of senses, that is Bhakti. So, and that also kind of gives up, this ability that I'm not the doer, I'm not running the show. I am also just like an instrument in the arrangement of the Lord. That gives us the ability to handle any situations in life. Because if someone is, just thinks I am running the show, this is my family, I, me, and mine, that leads to a lot of attachment. But this spirit leads to detachment in the work. As it is said that don't renounce the activity, renounce in the spirit. Act in this world, but not of this world. So that person will be able to handle all the ups and downs in life as well, very smoothly, compared to someone who thinks I, then they go through extremes. Because there would be instances there in everyone's life when things will not go as per what they would want to go, right? Like now, who wants to get disease? No one wants to get disease. But if someone thinks, oh no, I can do anything I want, then the material nature will teach a lesson. Same with health, same with family life, same with so many other situations. Let's see text 29. Prakrite guna sammuda sajjante guna karmashu tan akritsna vidon mandan kritsna vinna vichalayet. Yes, Mika Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna. Bewildered by the modes of material nature, the ignorant fully engage themselves in material activities and become attached. But the wise should not unsettle them, although these duties are inferior due to the performer's lack of knowledge. Thank you, Haripur.
Hare Krishna. So we discussed the contrast between the wise and the one who lack knowledge. Now Krishna is telling that the wise should not unsettle them. It's a very interesting situation here. That who are the unintelligent? Prabhupada is mentioning here. The body is a gift of material nature, and one who is too much attached to the bodily consciousness called manda. Manda. No. Lazy person, without understanding of soul. So unintelligent does not mean they don't have degrees. Unintelligent does not mean they have not gone to school or college. Unintelligent means lazy about spiritual science. Those who think that one could be, doctor, lawyer, and MBA and have lots of fancy degrees, but could still be a manda. By degrees, we may get some material knowledge and material wealth. But for spiritual knowledge, we have to go to the Spiritual Education Society, that is International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And we have to follow the scriptures, that is Bhagavad Gita, and follow the right bona fide spiritual master. Then only we will become intelligent, not by getting fancy degrees. So, what do ignorant men think? That I'm the body, and all the bodily connections, me, my family, my kingdom, my land, whatever, this is me, my car, my phone, iPhone, iPad, I, right? Therefore, it's named like that. It deepens our bodily connection, I, with a capital I. Now, a lot of devotees share Krishna consciousness. And sometimes, Prabhupada gives a very, very nice purport that sometimes we come to Krishna consciousness and our desire is that all our friends, relatives, neighbors, co-workers, colleagues, whatever, they should all also take to this path, right? Which is a very good desire, right? But it does not happen like that. Maybe a few will take. In rare situations, majority may take, but in general, majority will not follow this path. Majority will go in the wrong direction only. Majority will follow the herd mentality. Let's see what Prabhupada is saying very, very nicely here. Men who are ignorant cannot appreciate activities in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, the Lord Krishna advises not to disturb them and simply waste valuable time. Our time is precious. If someone is not in a mood to hear, if someone is already too much puffed up with their own ideas, own thoughts, they have like the flow is always from top to down. If someone is not humble, receptive, then you can't make that person understand. It is said that advice given to foolish people, good advice given to foolish people will increase their anger. It will only agitate them. It will unsettle them. Right? So therefore, we have to see where we have to utilize our time wisely, because time is precious. Time is Krishna's energy. We have only 24 hours where we have to do our spiritual life, and then we have to share also as a duty, to strengthen as a service. But we should share it wisely. Like now we do book distribution, prasad distribution, and we have to intelligent where to spend our time. And His Grace Vashishka Prabhu says that we should always leave a good impression. Prabhupada goes on, the devotees of the Lord are more kind than the Lord. And they understand the purpose of the Lord. Actually, the Lord wants everyone to become Krishna conscious. Consequently, they undertake risk even to the point of approaching ignorant men, trying to engage them in the acts of Krishna consciousness, which are absolutely necessary for a human being. The devotees take big risk by sharing. Krishna is saying, don't unsettle them. But devotees take the risk because Krishna wants, inside his heart, he wants everyone to be Krishna conscious. And in that also, in that outreach spirits, in the sharing spirits, the goal is not to kind of unsettle, but there are a lot of favorable and not, I would say, innocent people. Yeah, they're innocent. They want to know. They are not, they have some inclination, but they may have not have the right understanding. So they're open to ideas. So with those people, we should share. If someone is too puffed up, oh, I know what is everything. I know what's right. I know what's wrong. I know. You forget about this Bhagavad Gita. Forget about this, warrior. Then we should just join hands. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, madam. You are great. Haribol. That's what Prabhupada is teaching. That's what Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur Maharaj. Always leave the good impression. We don't have to force them. You must take it, otherwise you'll go to hell. This is not our mood. We have to leave a good impression. If they are open to receiving a book, okay, we give the book. If they're open to receiving just Hare Krishna from a distance, we give them. If they're open to receiving a cookie, we give them that. But we have to leave the good impression. Because we have to utilize, sometimes, in book distribution, someone will come and for 1 hour, they'll keep talking. And they will not take any book. They'll just want to download what they want to the book distributors. So we have to be wise how to interact with the others, especially in our outreach mission. There's a very nice verse by Sri Prahlad Maharaj who says, Matirna Krishne parata swatova mitho bhipadyed grihavritana adanta gobhir vishutam tamishram punash charvanana. Beautiful verse. Let's see what Prahlad Maharaj is speaking here. Yes, Aparna Mataji, you want to read? And Vinita, you'll go next. Okay, Vinita, please.
Hare Krishna. Prahlad Maharaj replied, because of their uncontrolled senses, persons too addicted to materialistic life make progress towards hellish conditions and repeatedly chew that which has already been chewed. Their inclinations toward Krishna are never aroused, either by the instructions of others, by their own efforts, or by a combination of both.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Matir na Krishna, unki mati, their mati na Krishna, it will not get attached to Krishna. Why? Uncontrolled senses, addicted to material life. You were asking Ravi Prabhu some reasons. How? Even by their own effort or by the instructions of others. Parata, para means others. Swata, self. Swata and parata, or by a combination. They are just busy, absorbed, chewing the chewed. No inclination to understand the higher message. No inclination to learn from Guru Sadhu Shastra. No inclination to know the spiritual science. Then they're only Krishna's causeless mercy can save them. Or Agyata Sukruti. We are learning about the Agyata Sukruti. So Agyata Sukruti, unknowingly helping a devotee or some spiritual touch, taking prasad, hearing holy name. Therefore, we can, whenever we go for outreach, we keep the holy name going. Even those who are passing by, they may not stop for the book, they may not be interested in the cookie either. They will at least unknowingly hear the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is the Yuga Dharma. This is the message of Lord Chaitanya. So Agyat Sukruti certainly works also. So proper utilization of a person who is outreaching, not just agitating, not just prematurely asking them to renounce everything. Okay, we have to, a preacher, like, we discussed example of Narad Muni. He gave a different message to Mrigari. He gave a different message to Dhruva. He gave a different message to Prahlad. He gave a different message to Vyasadeva and so many other disciples based on their level of spiritual advancement or their level of conditioning. Either way. Valmiki Muni, also in a classic example. So one should do this as per time, place, and situations. Mai sarvani karmani sanyas adhyatma chetasa nirashir nirmamo bhutva yuddhasva vigata jvaraha. Yes, Aparna Mataji, want to read?
Hare Krishna. Therefore, O Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me with full knowledge of me, without desires for profit, with no claims to proprietorship, and free from lethargy and fight. Back to you.
Thank you so much. This is Krishna's message, how we should act in this world. Right? We are still talking about being a good example and the science and the art of doing work. That all adhyatma chetasa, that work should be done to please Krishna with full knowledge of the Supreme Lord. Me here is Krishna. Unto me, surrendering all your works unto me. Yat karoshi yad ashnasi yad juhosi dadasi yat tapastyasi konteya tat kurushva madarpanam. Bhagavad Gita 9.27. And what else should be the mood? Nirashi. Not nirashi in the sense of, is asha is here. Nirash doesn't mean sad here. Here it is. Asha means desire. Ni asha means without desire. Oh, if I do this, I'll get this. If I do that, I'll get that. That's fruitive work. The desire is to please Krishna. That's the spiritual. Nirasha means no material desire, no material profit. Nir mama. Aham mama. I, me, and mine. Ni mama means without ownership. Oh, I am the doer. We just discussed that. A foolish person thinks that I am the doer. Ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. I am the doer. But intelligent person does not think like that. Vigata jvaraha. Don't be lazy. Don't be lazy. One time, a king called in his kingdom, who is the most lazy person? I will give him or her a reward. And all the lazy people showed up, right? There were hundreds of people. Now, how to test who is really lazy? So he kind of said, okay, all of you be situated. Someone sitting, someone lying down, and so. And then he put the tent on fire. The whole tent where all these lazy people had assembled, he put the tent on fire. Prabhupada shares this story. And guess what? Everyone tried to run. He said, these are not lazy people. If they would have been lazy, they would have been lazy to run also. But two of them were really kind of the best of the lot. And then one said, BB. What does BB mean? Back burning. Another person said, TO. Turn over. So this is real laziness. And the king kind of said, okay, they are not even willing to get up and move. They are really lazy people. Then somehow it was a controlled fire, and then they were rewarded. But the lesson here is that one should not be lazy. Bhakti does not mean laziness. Hanuman was not lazy. Ambrish Maharaj was not lazy. Arjuna was not lazy. Yudhishthira Maharaj was not lazy. Sometimes spiritual people, the common people think that spiritual people are lazy. But then you ask them to come to the temple at 4 a.m. and see the schedule. Sometimes people think that these brahmacharis, well, they have given up their jobs, they have given up their career, they are lazy bums. This is way far from the truth. Their lifestyles are 10 times more busier and more productive than an ordinary so-called person who is working for just I, me, and mine. Devotees are not lazy. Prabhupada did not like laziness. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur did not like laziness. Devotees are spiritual warriors. Krishna, working for Krishna, giving up the laziness, giving up the fruitive desires, giving up the sense of ownership. This is, and this verse is very nice. This is a very important verse, how we should act in bhakti. The Lord instructs that one has to become fully Krishna conscious to discharge duties as if in a military discipline. Military discipline, right? Means strictness, sincerity. There's a time to get up, there's a time to sleep, there's a time to eat, there's time to do duties. It's there are certain rules and regulations. Such an injunction may make things a little difficult. It's not easy. All good things are difficult in life. Nevertheless, duties must be carried out with the dependence on Krishna because that is the constitutional position of the living entity. Bhakti is not just, okay, sleep, just take it easy. Oh, it's Sunday, relax. Okay, who cares? Okay, we'll read Bhagavad Gita. We'll have 50 more years to live. We'll read someday. We'll go to temple. We'll talk to devotees. There's so much life. Right now, just enjoy, relax, take it easy. No, this is not Bhakti. Bhakti means sincerity. If one seriously wants to take it, because life is short. We know this now. We don't know when is the last day. Life is short. So better if we are taking it, to take it seriously and sincerely. This is what Krishna is telling. This is what Prabhupada is telling here. I'm just, paraphrasing or reading from the purport. So one has to sacrifice everything for the good will of the Lord. At the same time, discharge prescribed duties without the proprietorship mentality. Very nice point. And the other point here is the living entity cannot be happy independent of the cooperation of the Supreme Lord, because the eternal position is that we are the subordinates to the Supreme Lord. Arjuna therefore was ordered to fight if the Lord were his military commander. Guru means military commander. We should not approach Guru because everyone has a Guru. Or we should not approach Guru, oh, I have my family, my wife, my children, my husband. I have a Guru also. One should approach a bona fide Guru as if he's our military commander. Karishyasi vachnam thoi. I will do what you say. I will not. And then, what about, oh, should I, apply my own intelligence? What if I don't like Guru's instruction? What if the Guru is too heavy upon me? Right? All this question may come. Arjuna did not have to consider the order of the Lord. He had to only execute his order. Very important point. In military, they don't say, hey, why I should get up at 4 a.m. I'll come at 6 a.m. or I'll come at 10 a.m. and I'll do my own routine. They say, okay, then you get out and do your own routine, right? Will they entertain such a person who says, oh, I want to do it? Similarly, in Bhakti, someone says, well, I will follow my system. I will make my own system and I'll follow that system. Instead of standing 16 rounds, I'll just stand 16 beats. Well, even one name is sufficient. Why are you just asking 16 rounds? I'll do 16 beats. Who am I to give that system? The great acharyas give the system. Well, instead of following the 4 regulative principles, I'll follow 2 regulative principles, right? Or I'll make my own system. This is nonsense. So, military discipline. It may sound a little strict, right? But to achieve anything great, even in student life, right? Even in student life, let's say if the child is doesn't want to do hard work, doesn't want to, or in any aspect of life, from a material perspective also. People sometimes I see, for work, they get up at like 4 a.m. and go to work. Sometimes night shifts, sometimes like 12-hour shifts, 16-hour shifts. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. right? So sometimes studying so hard for competitive exams and grades and stuff. Material life, people are endeavoring so hard to get just some more money, to get some more so-called comfort, which is just ends up in giving more misery. Why should we not follow the discipline in spiritual life, which will give us eternal results? But if we don't follow it, then we will lose it. So we should follow under the expert commander. Then we will make steady progress. Prabhupada gives the example of cashier. Cashier counts millions of rupees, dollars, but that he's acting in the spirit of nirmama, that it is not mine. And we should give up the laziness. So military discipline is encouraged here. In any aspect, whether student life, professional life, everything should be scheduled, planned, organize things nicely. That doesn't mean that we don't do again, we have to organize our material life. Okay, this is my time for work, this is my time for my cooking, this is my time for my family, this is my time for my study, this is my time for my spiritual life, this is my time for my chanting, this is my time for to take care of my health, my yoga, exercise, whatever. So, and then we try. I know sometimes it may be difficult, it may sound a little hard, but if we fail to plan, we plan to fail. If we don't even organize, then day will just fly, right? How many times we have experienced that the day just passed, right? We have all experienced that the day just passed. It will pass because we didn't greet the dawn with a plan. As Shika Prabhu said, we should always greet the dawn with a map. If we have a plan, then at least we execute 70% of it, 80% of it, 90%, and slowly we'll come to executing 100% of it. So, how to act? A sense of detachment, without laziness, in the service to the Supreme Lord, without having this proprietorship mentality, and giving the fruits to the Supreme Lord, not expecting material fruits. Ye me matam idam nityam anutishtanti manavaha Shraddhavan anto anusuyanto muchante tepi karmabhi. Anyone wants to read? Murli, Prabhu, want to read this one?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Those persons who execute their duties according to my injunctions and who follow this teaching faithfully without envy become free from the bondage of fruitive actions. Hare Krishna, thank you.
Thank you so much. So this verse tells those who follow the right conduct without envy, these teachings, what you just discussed, all the teachings, how to act in text number 30 and before, they will become free from all the bondages. We also discussed this in text number 3.9, that work done as a sacrifice to Vishnu or Krishna, it leads to freedom from reactions. Rather, work done for one's own gratification leads to more bondage. So quite straightforward. One very nice point here is Prabhupada is mentioning, and I hope and request that everyone should read the translations and purports at least. We're not reading all the purports word to word, but I kind of request you all to please read. It will really help you. You can make some notes and stuff. Please read at your end as well, before or after the class. One should have firm faith in this injunction without envying the Lord. One should not doubt whether this will happen or not. Shraddha. One should have firm faith. Shraddha shabde vishwas kore sudrida nishchay Krishna bhakti kaila sarva karma krita hoy. One has firm faith that yes, by executing bhakti, everything will happen. Everything which is desirable will happen. This is having firm faith. Not having envy, not for a doubting soul. Bhagavad Gita says there is no happiness in this world nor in the next. Well, someone will say it's too hard. How do I do it? It's very difficult. Correct? You're talking about getting up early, giving up certain things and doing certain things and not doing certain things, right? It may be military discipline is hard, right? to do all this. It's hard, but easy. What do you all say? It may be hard, especially in the beginning. So Prabhupada is mentioning a solution. In the beginning of Krishna consciousness, one may not fully discharge the injunctions of the Lord, but because one is not resentful, not envious of these principles, and works sincerely, without consideration of defeat and hopelessness, he will surely be promoted to the stage of pure Krishna consciousness. So what that means that in the beginning, we may try to do all the nice things, but we will fail sometimes. We will get defeat, all right? Because of our past conditioning, because of our past desires, bondage, so many previous births. But one should not be hopeless without consideration of being hopeless. One should be helpless but not hopeless. Helpless that Krishna, I can't do on my own. I need your help. I need Guru's help. I need the like let's say a new person joins a military, and a person who is practicing that for 10 years, would their level of sincerity, would the level of following the principles be same? No, right? So a new person will feel, I want to give up. This is too hard for me, right? In the beginning, this may happen, correct? But if one is sincere, we will get defeat sometimes. Sometimes we will fall in trap of our old habits. We will feel hopeless. Oh, things are not working. I'm so fallen, and this is not for me. This is too difficult. We should not consider Prabhupada is mentioning. We should keep moving slowly but surely with sincerity. Work sincerely. Sincerity is important. So it may take some time. For some, it may take a couple of weeks. For some, it may take a couple of months. For some, it may take a couple of years. But one should not be resentful. One should keep trying sincerely, and one will surely attain the stage of pure Krishna consciousness. This is Prabhupada's message here, right? Isn't that amazing? So this is Bhakti. Na tva etat abhyushuyanto nanutishtanti me matam sarvagyana vimoodatma stan vidhi nashtan achetasaha. Yes, Anita Mataji, you want to read?
The flaw of not being oh, but those who out of envy disregard these teachings and do not follow them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, be fooled and ruined in their endeavors for perfection.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Third Prabhu. Those who disregard, very, very similar verse in 16.24 also Bhagavad Gita. Those who disregard these teachings, do not follow them. Ya Shastra Vidhimutsrijya Vartate Kamakarata, and they act as per their own whims and fantasies. What's the need for scripture? Hey, this is all nonsense. The Guru, Sadhu, ISKCON, and they just talk their own, concocted stuff. Those who disregard the teachings of Guru, spiritual master, Bhagavad Gita, Shastras, Lord Krishna, we are not here talking about some concocted stuff. We are talking about the message of pure Krishna consciousness coming from the disciplic succession. So someone, in text 31, we learned what will be the destination of someone who follows that message. It will lead to perfection. In this verse, we are learning those who don't follow these teachings, all the endeavors will be ruined. They'll be fooled, bereft of all knowledge. Na samsiddhim avapnoti, na sukham. They will not have any happiness. There is no hope for perfection in life. In short, they will keep moving in the cycle of birth and death, becoming animal and different species, going to hellish planets, etc. So in short, one should take this message seriously and follow the instructions. Even though they may be a little tough in the beginning, one has support. In Krishna Consciousness Society, we have so much support of devotees, experienced devotees, mentors, guides, Prabhupada's books, words. It's not that we are the first person trying to tread this road, right? It's not that the first person we are trying to follow Krishna consciousness. Is the first person we are trying to eat prasadam only. Not the first person we are trying to just to follow the four regulative principles. Millions have done, and not just in the current situation, from the past also. Thousands and millions are doing, and they have done, and they have achieved success and the perfection of life. And there are other who are not pursuing that, and then their goal is also very clear as per Bhagavad Gita. The choice is ours, whether we want to follow 31 or whether we want to follow 32. 31 tells what will happen with if we do these. 32 tells what will happen if we don't do this. A disobedient person, ignorant of his own self, Paramatma, vacant heart. Their hearts are vacant, right? Therefore, at the time of death, then there is so much shallowness. Then they reach out. Oh, some puja, some help. Pray for me. God help me, right? Ram Naam Satya hai. Satyam Satyam Punah Satyam Hari Nama Yavake. Well, Ram Naam is Satya not just at the time of death. Ram Naam is Satya at the time of birth and death and marriage and everything in the whole life tenure. But often people think of Ram Naam at the time of death. It's too late. So intelligent person is one who takes this message seriously, not just at the time of death or post-death, but the time when it's a time to act, which is now. Whatever our age is, this is the best time to be Krishna conscious. Sadrisham chet cheshtate swasyaha prakrite ज्ञानवन अपि प्रकृतिं यान्ति भूतानि निग्रहा किं करिष्यति. Okay, yes, Rashmi, Shital Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature, for everyone follows the nature he has acquired from the three modes. What can repression accomplish? Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Nigraha kim karishyati. Just artificially curbing the senses without having a higher taste of Krishna consciousness, artificially renouncing, going to forest will not act. Krishna is telling, oh Arjuna, if you go to forest, you have acquired the Kshatriya mentality. Over there also you will have this Kshatriya mentality. So Prabhupada makes a beautiful statement here in the purport that academically one may be very learned, doctors, PhD, engineer, lawyer, etc., etc. But because of his long association with material nature, one is in bondage. Krishna consciousness helps one to get out of material entanglement, even though one may be engaged in his prescribed duties in the terms of material existence. Therefore, without being full in Krishna consciousness, one should not give up his occupational duties. Premature renunciation is not encouraged in Bhagavad Gita. Premature renunciation is not nigraha kim karishyasi. When the inside there is desire to enjoy so many things of the material world, and at the young age one says, oh, I'll just give up, go to forest, then one will keep thinking about enjoyment in the forest. Also, we have discussed this point that we don't have to be a so-called yogi, artificial, pseudo-yogi, pseudo-baba. Many people give up their family life and then go to Vrindavan, Haridwar, but smoke bidis there. Cigarette. What's the use of that? Yet at the same time, it is also not encouraged that at the fag end, till the fag end of one's life, one is working. And on Monday morning, a lot of people get heart attack at work. It's a fact, right? We have some doctors on call, on this call, not on their call, but on this call. But this is a fact, right? You can attest if I'm saying wrong, or correct me if I'm saying wrong. So that means one should not, the Vedic system is very nicely designed. Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. 100 years, 25 to 50, 50 to 75, and then 75. But nowadays, average lifespan is not up to 100. And even if one drags till 100, one's situation is not so good in bodily terms. So, what is encouraged that devotees should plan that at the age of somewhere around 50 to 60 years. It could be different for different people. There are a lot of factors. Kali Yuga is, it's not one size fits all. Again, we need to discuss with our commander what should be the right thing for us. Therefore, we need Guru, right? But the point is, one should not work till like, 65, 70, 75, 80. And sometimes the government or they may retire and then may take a secondary job or something like that. This is so extremes are not encouraged. One should retire timely in the sense in this middle, whatever, like 25 to 50, 55 years, one should continue rendering bhakti, develop more and more spiritual attachment, develop more and more taste for reading, hearing, chanting, service, etc. And then take spiritual retirement or active more in a devotee's life. Retirement means more active spiritual involvement. It's kind of, oh, my last lap of my life has come now. I don't know. I'm already 60 or 55 years. I don't know how many more years I have. Maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years, maybe 15 years. I don't know. Krishna knows that. But now, for sure, I will not live forever. That's true for a 30-year-old as well. But that becomes, more true for, and the body will also give a lot of signals. So one should understand the last lap of this marathon is coming. In material world, what does retirement mean? Oh, I'll lie down on the beaches in Florida and take sun bath. This is not spiritual retirement. Spiritual retirement means more active spiritual involvement. But at the same time, one should not prematurely give up. Oh, well, life is just to chant Hare Krishna, so I'll just go to Vrindavan. I'll pack up my bags tomorrow, going to Vrindavan because, Prabhuji said, okay, we ultimately, that is the essence. It's not like that also. Do we have that taste to chant 24 hours? Do we have that taste to serve 24 hours? Do we have that taste to be absorbed in the scriptures 24 hours? One may go to Vrindavan, but one will think, oh, my friend is making more money. Oh, how I wish I would have been there. Oh, I would have bought this new car. No, you have to gradually purify. So this is the time and one should plan one's retirement also, so that one is not working till the fag end as well. So extremes, all extremes are bad. And retiring early at the age of like 25 years is time to, because if everyone thinks like that, then who will expand? It's not that there are only brahmacharis who can be devotees. Devotees can be in Grihastha ashram also. They can have wonderful Grihastha Krishna conscious children who can have more and more Krishna consciousness. So it's not that one has to renounce. And in ISKCON also, as we have discussed multiple times, more than 95% of the population is in the Grihastha ashram. Even in the Mahajans, out of the 12, 7 are in the Grihastha ashram, which is absolutely fine. It's not kind of like, it's not what do you call, like substitute or kind of like, a less alternative. It's equally great if the shelter is the Supreme Lord. That we have to do. If we are acting as per the Bhagavad Gita, if we are acting as per, then on the other hand, one should not think, oh, I'm in Grihastha ashram, so these rules don't apply to me. These rules are more for, military discipline means brahmachari. I'm in Grihastha. No one is watching. In brahmachari ashram, there is more close monitoring, right? If one doesn't get up, then 10 other devotees will be sleeping, around in the same hall, and they'll wake him up. They'll wake him up, right? In Grihastha ashram, well, your friend will not, call every day you're getting up or not. He'll not ask, where are you eating? He'll not, Guru will not ask every day, what are you doing? What are you watching? What are you eating? But we must have that. If we sincerely want, then only spiritual progress will happen. Otherwise, it will take a long time. Defeat will happen, but it's okay. It's okay to try and get defeat than to not even try, right? Is Grace Nathai what you meant? Success is not in the race won, but it is in the, what's that? She says something like that. It's not that success, but the lesson learned. So something like that. We will learn some lesson. If we try, we'll learn some lesson. We will not be so used to it, but when we keep trying, we'll get lessons. We will continue to try. And in every learning happens with practice, happens with time. So we should not be afraid of failing. Oh, getting up early, I can't do it. Or chanting 16 rounds, I can't do it. Try it out. Offering only eating prasad, I can't do it. We try. Sometimes we'll fail. Sometimes we'll learn lessons. We'll ask. Then it will, bring up some questions. How are others doing it? As I said before, we're not the only first person trying to do these things. Millions have done, millions are doing, and we can take their help. They're available, right? Indriyasyaarthe ragadvesha vyavasthitau tayornavasam vasham agachetau hi asya paripanthinau. Okay, Nita Mataji, yes, I'm to read.
Hare Krishna. There are principles to regulate attachment and aversion pertaining to the senses and their objects. One should not come under the control of such attachment and aversion because they are stumbling blocks on the path of self-realization. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Raga Dvesha, attachment and aversion are the stumbling blocks. So, and it is for anything and everything. Too much attachment is bad, and too much aversion, both are bad. And Prabhupada gives very nice words in the purport as well. That they are like pendulum. It's like a pendulum. Raga one side, Dvesha one side. And keeps oscillating. So what we have to do is come in the center and not be on the extremes. That's the balance. Because if we are equipoised, then not too much attachment to anything, not too much aversion. How can aversion be bad? Can anyone tell? Example? How can aversion be bad? Attachment we all know. Okay, attached to sense gratification, attached to money, attached to whatnot. That's easy to understand. How can aversion be a stumbling block? Would someone like to share some thoughts?
Prabhuji, maybe if you're too much attached to something, and if you keep on doing the same thing again and again, you may say, it's kind of boring, or I don't want to do it. Maybe that's kind of an aversion that I get it when in the material world activities I do on day-to-day basis. If I do the same again and again, I feel it's kind of I feel bored, or rather I would say I don't want to do it again. If I have to do it, I have to think something different in a different way. Something I'm thinking, maybe I'm wrong, please correct me.
Thank you. That's a good example. Yes, Ravi Prabhu, you want to share? Thank you, Vikant Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji, to my understanding, aversion is like it's a mind. If someone is asking me to don't think about, say, like anything like banana, then the mind will tend to go to that banana all the time. So like if having so much of aversion will also try to bring you to that point regardless of your wish. So that's why the coming in the center is the solution.
Thank you. That's a good example. I'll share a small story since you all like stories. There were two monks, a seasoned monk and a new monk, right? So they were crossing kind of a river, and they had to. So an old lady was there who needed some help, and these were monks or renounced people. So this lady said, "Well, I'm old and I don't have anything. Won't you please help me?" So, and the seasoned monk said, "Okay, well." So he picked her. She needed help, helped her cross the river, and then continued. And the new monk was just thinking in the mind, and then they walked for like 5 miles, and then they reached their ashram. Whole journey, this new monk was thinking, well, this monk gives classes on, we should be very careful of opposite sex, we should not be too close to them, etc. And today he, picked her up, the old lady. And so this person could not tolerate himself. He asked the question, well, I have a question. He says, well, you gave in classes about, that we should be very careful of opposite sex, etc. And well, today you picked that lady. And he said, I picked her just for maybe 2 minutes, but you have been picking her for 2 hours. Right? So that's aversion, as you gave the example of banana. Thinking that, oh, woman is Maya, oh, I'll not see them, oh, I'll not even, I'll keep 100 feet away. That's what is happening. Thinking of a woman, right? So Prabhupada gives a very nice example here, that all other women should be considered as one's mother, except for one's wife. Matrivat paradarishu. Right? Other than one's wife, one should consider. This is a simple principle. Right? We have to follow that. We don't have to be averse. Yes, we have to be careful in dealing with them, but it's not that, oh, woman is, I should not even see anyone's face, I'll get impure. What's happening? You're carrying that aversion is the other side of attachment. It's like two sides of the coin. Same applies for women for men and men for women, because that's how this law works. One has to sincerely practice this regulation, control, free from attachment and aversion, and be more attached to Krishna. That's a simple formula. Shreyasva dharmo vigunaha paradharmat swa anushtitaha swadharme nidhanam shreya parodharma bhayavaha. Yes. Kant Prabhu, you want to read? I really like some of you keep your cameras on. Thank you, Ravi Prabhu, Shital Mataji, Murli Prabhu, Anita Mataji, and Rashmi Prabhu. Rashmi Mataji, thank you. That really is very encouraging. So thank you for those who do that. And I request others also to please someday try to keep the cameras on if possible. Yes, who wants to read this one? Anyone in a position to read? Karthik Prabhu, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhu. Can you hear me, Prabhu? Am I audible? Okay, Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavad Pranam. It is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though faultily, than another's duties perfectly. Distraction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in another's duties, for to follow another's path is dangerous.
Thank you. Here, very, very straightforward. That better to engage in one's own dharma rather than trying to imitate others. We have discussed this, that better to be a sincere sweeper on the street rather than trying to be a charlatan meditator or a pseudo guru. Prabhupada mentions that multiple times. So everyone has to cleanse. Prabhupada mentions here, everyone has to cleanse his heart or her heart by a gradual process, not abruptly. Oh, I will become a sannyasi. I will go to Vrindavan, give up everything and go to Vrindavan. This is not the Bhagavad Gita's message. Yes, one should go, one should take inspiration, but just giving up everything prematurely, abruptly, jumping and not having that internal cleansing, it's like, you know, how do you feel? How will you feel when the heart, when one is in Vrindavan, but thinking about money, women, enjoyment, oh, how I'm missing my Domino's pizza, or how I'm missing my burger, or how I'm missing my wealth. And what's the use to be in Vrindavan? It's right? So what is the message here? Right now, whatever we are, whichever state we are in, keep making gradual, sincerely trying, follow the discipline, follow the rules and regulations, develop more and more attachment to Krishna. And at the right time, anywhere between 50 to 60 years or even before, but it will depend on a lot of factors, which we are not going in those, and in discussion with their teachers, their guru, one should one should intensify one's last lap of sadhana or seva, but not abruptly. Not abruptly. No, abrupt thing is encouraged in bhakti. Bhakti is a gradual process. We have to sustain it. It's not that okay, today I'll just do everything and forget tomorrow. You have to go step by step and keep increasing our spiritual attachment, and material attachment will naturally reduce. One last verse and we'll pause. Now the topic is changing here. We talk about the how to act. It's a right example. We talk about the TRE, and the last is Arjuna is asking a question. Text number 36. Atha kena prayukto yam papam charati purusha anicham api varshneya balat iva niyojitaha. Yes. Who wants to read this one? Who hasn't read yet? Yes, Ravi.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Am I audible?
Yes, Mansa Mataji, please read.
Yeah. Arjuna said, O descendant of Varshni, by what is one implied to saintful act, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force? Hare Krishna.
Very bold. Thank you so much. So, just knowledge is sometimes not sufficient, right? Doing knowing that this is a bad activity or sinful activity. Still, sometimes someone is impelled, balad, right? Here the word is by force. One is niyojita. One ends up doing it as if someone is like literally forcing. So why does that happen? Arjuna is asking. Even against his will, Prabhupada is mentioning, we may not want to do that, but still we end up doing that, as if someone is forcing us to do that. What is that? Lord will explain in the next verse. Okay, so it's almost 6:50. Time really flies very fast in the association of all of you who are so sincere devotees. So we can take some comments, some thoughts, any questions, any reflections in the last 10-15 minutes we have here. Anyone wants to share some thoughts, comments, reflections, questions? And the next time we will talk about this, what is that thing? We'll cover this chapter in the last 7-8 verses. What is Lord Krishna's response to this? Why we are impelled to do something? Anyone has any comments? Yes, Ravi Prabhu, please feel free to share your thoughts.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Prabhuji, in the text 331, I like this last paragraph. I'm going to just read it. In the beginning of Krishna consciousness, one may not fully discharge the injunctions of the Lord, but because one is not resentful of this principle and works sincerely without consideration of defeat and hopelessness, he will surely be promoted to the stage of pure Krishna consciousness. So I was actually relating myself at this point because I know certain things I have to do, but I don't do it for whatever reason. So this gives me more courage today that, okay, if I'm sincere and I'm not resentful, I have a hope.
Yeah.
Very nice. Avani is approving that, right? So very good. And that applies for everyone because we're all we all should feel like we are beginners. And as we, as we keep even making progress, we should keep adding. And then we will get defeats. You'll get defeat. We should not be hopeless. We should not be, oh, I can't do this. This bhakti is not for me, actually. And I remember when I was also in college, actually, I got to know from some of the senior devotees that how do they conduct their lifestyle. And I told my mom that, my dear mother, I don't think I can do this. I think it's too much. I can never imagine I can doing this, all these things which these people are doing. And my mother said the simple thing, which actually Prabhupada is mentioning. Don't over worry. Do your best and step by step, gradually. Don't do something abruptly. Keep doing, keep trying, be sincere, and Krishna will help. This should be our motto. Under guidance, and then Krishna will help. Thank you. Anyone else wants to share some thoughts? Any questions?
Guidance, manifestation of Gita is crystal clear. I'm very proud that as a teacher, I'm able to bless you. That once upon a time you were my student, today I am your student. Thanks for it.
That's your greatness. Teacher always remains a teacher, and the respect and we have for you is always will stay. So you're always going to remain a teacher. Whatever I'm sharing here is just from my teachers, my spiritual teachers, coming down in the Brahma Madhav Gaudiya Parampara. So I'm just like a parrot trying to repeat for my purification. It's not to, if anyone else finds inspiration, that's the credit goes to the teachers. So I'm just trying to repeat in an unalloyed way, like this microphone. Thank you. Thank you so much for being so sincere. I see you're so sincere, and you know that Aparna Mataji attends from India. So which means it's, what time is it? Like 5 p.m. here. 5:30 is like, you can imagine the time. It's like 3 a.m. That shows your sincerity to read Bhagavad Gita at 3 a.m. and being so eager, not missing any class. So all glories to you in your sincerity. So thank you. Thank you so much. Any other thoughts, comments, questions, reflections? I see Rabindra Prabhu has also joined. Thank you. We're so happy to see you after a long time. We're very glad that you have joined. Gandhi Prabhu also there. Thank you. Any more thoughts, any questions, comments, additions, corrections? No? Yes? Maybe? Okay, so it's almost 7. It's almost time to pause, and reflection is something which struck you. It's not a question. It's something which struck you. So feel free. The more we share, the more we learn. Like Ravi Prabhu shared, like that that point struck him. that point really struck him. That's a good reflection. So reflection is something we should reflect. We must reflect, actually. It will help us in strengthening and reinforce our learning. Because if I ask 2 days from now, like, or someone asks you, what did you learn today? We should at least be able to share those few reflections. We may not be able to share everything verbatim. It is impossible, but at least we can share a few key learnings from our discussion today. And the more we share, the more deeper it will go in our consciousness, the deeper we'll be able to apply it, remember it, and absorb it. So please don't feel shy. Rather, it's a time to reflect. We should reflect. So, okay, without much delay, next time we'll cover this, the end of chapter 3. And this is very, very important section as well, talking about why are we dragged to do something which we don't want to do. So I'm sure we are all looking forward to hearing that from Bhagavad Gita. And if you have questions while you're reading, feel free to reach out. I believe you all have access to WhatsApp and emails. You can reach out, and even in the middle, you have any questions. So we'll pause here and continue with next week. Shri Bhagavad Gita Upanishad ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.